After studying this module, you shall be able to know about stress and its consequences on the body. Identify the needs for relaxation during a stressful situation and learn the different types of relaxation techniques. Evaluate the use and advantages of different relaxation techniques. Introduction. Stress is an overwhelming response that engulfs our body and as well as mind. It disrupts an individual's normal flow of health, work schedule and mental peace. Stress may be understood as a stimulus as well as a response. It may be caused due to frustrations, conflicts or pressures from outside. Inability to fulfill certain needs, getting caught up into unavoidable choices and the demands from parents and peers may be the source of stress for an individual. In the terms of a response, the stress is a physiological response. It stimulates the autonomic nervous system activity and glandular secretions. In a way, it shakes up the whole body. If stress is continued or is perceived as beyond one's capacity to handle, the consequences can be disastrous for an individual's health and well-being. Stress response. The following figures show biological pathways of stress response. The response to stress is commonly described as the fight or flight response. The stress arouses the body, a threat or a danger to survival is perceived, and the individual must respond to this threat with all his energy and skill. One has to save one's life either by fighting out the stressor or making a flight so that one could avoid stressful situation. The autonomic arousal initiated with the stress response involves all vital symptoms of the body such as respiratory, circulatory, digestive, muscular, endocrine, excretory or even the central nervous system. The two divisions of autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous systems are involved in the response of stress. The sympathetic branch is responsible for initiating the stress response and the parasympathetic branch is responsible for turning off the stress response and returning the body to the normal. The stress responses involves the HPA, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal system. The hypothalamus reacts to the stressful situation. It sends the chemical message to the pituitary gland and this gland in turn sends message to the adrenal medulla which releases the stress hormone. The pituitary sends the message via adrenocorticotropic hormone which is also called ACTH to the adrenal gland. The adrenal gland releases the hormone epinephrine and norepinephrine. The adrenal cortex releases cortisol which is also an important stress hormone. Glycogen stored in the liver get converted to glucose in the bloodstream and it provides instant energy to the organism to fight or make a flight from the stressful situation. The hypothalamus, pituitary gland and adrenal glands together known as HPA axis. They govern many hormonal activities and serve as a feedback loop that turns off the stress response when the threat is over. Relaxation. When a stressful event is over, the parasympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system takes over, turning off the stress response. heart rate, breathing, muscle tension and blood pressure all decreases. The body returns to homeostasis, a state of stability and balance in which functions are maintained within a normal range. The term relaxation response has been used to describe this process. Relaxation refers to changes in body systems that bring it to resting level. The sympathetic arousal began to subside. The arousal due to fear, anxiety and other emotional stressful states subside when one tries to relax. It has also been established in several research studies that certain pleasure-producing neurotransmitters are released in frontal cortices with relaxation, which provide extra feeling of well-being to the organism. Relaxation is a form of mild ecstasy coming from the frontal lobe of the brain, in which the frontal cortex releases certain pleasure-producing neurotransmitters. The state of relaxation includes lowered heart rate, pulse rate and blood pressure, decreased iron frequency accompanied with increase in amplitude of breathing, greater muscle tone, increased metabolic activity, several other beneficial effects on the body. It produces calmness in the body as well as the mind. It produces healthy alertness rather than unhealthy state of arousal. Need for relaxation techniques. Relaxation has been found beneficial in several conditions related with a stressful response. Relaxation induced through well-known techniques reduces the perception of pain. It is a good starting point for the session of psychotherapy and may be needed in particular cases. Relaxation has been used for the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder, alcoholism and substance abuse disorders. It has been highly effective in case of migraine and even in the cancer. Several studies have indicated the usefulness of relaxation techniques in specific areas such as the stress arising out of premenstrual period of distress, generalized physical and even mental pain, irritable bowel syndromes, generalized or specific anxiety, chronic tension headaches, fibromyalgia, insomnia, infertility, hypertension, high lipids in the bloodstream, diabetes, acute stress, panic disorder and arthritis. This could include many more disorders. Relaxing body and mind is important not only for the purpose of alleviating stress but also to promote a sense of well-being in an otherwise healthy individual. Several medical conditions have their origin in the stressful life situations. They are psychosomatic in nature, hypertension, several heart-related diseases, asthma, ulcers, even cancer has been recognized as linked with stress. The need to promote relaxation techniques right from school and college level has been widely recognized. Techniques of inducing relaxation. Techniques of inducing relaxation vary on several dimensions. Some are practiced while sitting down quietly, whereas other requires an individual to stand, sit and perform certain movements. Some techniques involve elements of both. There are all formal techniques which have been tried out and tested experimentally, and their physical effect have been scientifically measured. Some techniques of relaxation known as passive and needing a degree of withdrawal from activities may be described as follows. First, autogenic training. Autogenic training, which is also called AT, is a self-relaxation procedure by which a physiological response is elicited. The process of autogenic training involves relaxing one's muscles deeply. By doing so, one's mind follow through and relax as well. By arousing body awareness and visualizing of a positive state, one enters a state of relaxation. 1. Visualizing sitting in a peaceful and comfortable atmosphere focuses on body sensations including internal body states such as breathing, heartbeat, etc. to increase body awareness, and then tries to gradually move into a more relaxed state of body and the mind. Second technique is biofeedback. The word biofeedback means getting feedback about one's own bodily process. The term was coined in late 1960s to describe laboratory procedures that were then used to train experimental research subjects to alter brain activity, blood pressure, heart rate and other bodily functions that normally are not under voluntary control of the individual. The procedure of biofeedback involves displaying the internal functioning of vital systems of the body to the individual and teaching how they could be altered by self-efforts. In order to administer biofeedback, several parts of the body are monitored with electrodes. Data is collected on one's heartbeat, blood pressure, rate of breathing, temperature of the skin, galvanic skin response, muscular tensions, etc. It is simultaneously diverted to a common monitor and displayed on a computer screen. It is done under the normal as well as the stressed conditions. The bodily parameters show significant changes under stress. They are in front of the person in the form of immediate feedback. The counselor at this time teaches certain relaxation exercises which changes the bodily changes occurring at the time of stress. For example, an increase in blood pressure may be controlled by feeling more relaxed in mind, reducing tension in the muscles. Some of the common relaxation exercises taught by the biofeedback therapist are deep breathing, which has low frequency and higher amplitude, gradually increasing muscles relaxation involving tightening and relaxing the muscles alternatively. Visualization of pleasant colors and soft textures and mindfulness meditation in which the individual is taught to focus his thoughts on higher goals and ignore the negative irrelevant ones. Specific measures are recorded for the purpose of feedback. They include electroencephalographs, which is also called EEG, electromyogram EMG, electrodermal activity EDA, galvanic response skin response GSR, sphygmomanometer recordings for blood pressure, measurements of heart rate and etc. The EMG, which measures muscle activity, is usual for back pain, headache, anxiety disorders and incontinence. The recording of EEG are essential for headaches, migraines, convulsions, epilepsy and attention deficient and hyperactive disorders. All other measures are equally important for all tension related problems. Heart rate variability or alterations, which is also called HRA, may be used for anxiety, asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases and irregular heartbeat. Deep breathing. It is a method of regulating breathing. Conscious efforts has to be made to synchronize the activity of inhalation and exhalation. Through the nose, one has to inhale the full capacity, that is around 10 seconds, and the exhale through the mouth for about a similar amount of time. It has to be regularly done for a number of times each day. It produces relaxation and also reduces muscular tension. It may be practiced in the following manner. Breathe deeply in your abdomen, not just your chest. Proper breathing should be deep, slow and rhythmic and done through nose, not the mouth. Each breath should ideally last 3 to 4 seconds breathing in and 3 to 4 seconds breathing out. Deep full breaths that fill your lungs use your diaphragm. When you breathe deeply, your diaphragm muscles pulls your lung down so that they expand and you can really circulate oxygen down into the whole lung. Breathe in slowly and imagine your lungs filling up with air. Your chest slightly widens, your diaphragm pulls your chest cavity down and your belly button pulls away from spine as you breathe in. When your lungs are full, exhale slowly and pull your belly button back in towards your spine to push out all of the air from the lungs. When deep breathing is done directly from the abdomen, greater oxygen may enter the respiratory system. It does not so happen with shallow breathing from the chest alone. Greater oxygen to the brain is more conducive to alleviating stress. Meditation. Meditation is a technique to increase or create consciousness about the self not only in the body but also in the mind. The literal meaning of the word meditation, derived from the Latin word meditation, is to think, ponder and to contemplate. Research on the cognitive, physiological and neurological aspect of meditation has been extensively carried out. Mindfulness meditation has shown significant changes in the structure and the biochemistry of brain during the process of meditation. It has primarily been focused on the frontal cortex, which is a seat of logic, reasoning and the positive emotions. The scientific techniques of MRI, fMRI, PET scans and the measurement of cerebral blood flow have been made it possible to conduct this kind of research in this area. Mindfulness based stress reduction, which is also called MBSR program, is one of the mainstream programs to promote health and well-being of healthy participants as well as of patients suffering from various diseases related to stress such as hypertension, asthma, skin disorder, cardiovascular disorder, peptic and other ulcers, etc. An ancient sage of India, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, developed a new technique of meditation called the transcendental meditation. It is specifically a mantra meditation. It not only involved sitting in a particular yogic posture with one eye closed, but also chanting of certain mantras along with it. This chanting has to be done for about 15 minutes. It is supposed to induce deep relaxation and peacefulness in the individual. Impressed by the effectiveness of this technique, it has been incorporated in several corporate houses, schools, universities and even prison programs in various parts of the world. It has been popularized extensively since the 6th decade of this century. Zen Yoga. The traditional yoga systems presupposes a body built that is flexible enough to adopt certain postures and to be able to concentrate sitting still for some time. The Zen Yoga is considered as the yoga of the common man. It can also be participated by people who may be slightly weaker in build. It incorporates the philosophies of the Shanti Yoga and Tai Chi. It aims at providing maximum flexibility to the body by loosening of joints and improving respiration. One is encouraged to concentrate on the present moment and to do simple stretching exercises with deep breathing. A person of any age group can perform these exercises. Progressive muscle relaxation. Progressive muscle relaxation is a technique in which the body responds to anxiety-provoking thoughts and situations accompanying muscles tension and muscle relaxation. The tensed muscle will increase the feeling of anxiety. Deep muscle relaxation reduces physiological reduction in tension and thus relaxes the body. The therapy helps one to relax muscles by tensing certain parts of the body such as feet and then releasing the tension in order to feel the muscles relaxing. Thus, alternate relaxing and tensing of the muscles increases consciousness of and awareness about how they are functioning. It becomes easier for the organism to exercise control over them. After the practice for a few months, progressive muscle relaxation provides familiarity about the two different states of muscles, that is, the tensed up and the relaxed. Reducing tension in the muscle is the first step to reducing mental strain and stress. One may practice deep breathing along with progressive muscle relaxation for greater and quicker benefit. Pranayama. As described by ancient sages in India, prana is derived from the power of the sun. It is the breath or the essential energy in the body. The subtle level prana present the life force and the ayama means control. So pranayama is meant to represent the control of the basic life force. To achieve a healthy body and a sound mind, one needs to control this force. Pranayama has been described as mean to achieve that. Patanjali in his next text of Yoga Sutra mentions pranayama as a mean of attaining higher state of awareness. He also mentions the holding of breath as important practice for teaching samadhi. Hatha yoga also includes 8 types of pranayama which may be used to make the body and mind healthy. According to old scriptures, mind and body are two different poles, but they are connected through the force of pran. Pran has been scientifically defined as a high valence electrically charged particles, the ion, which get its charge from air, that is oxygen. This life force pervades the whole body and the mind. More than 50 different techniques of pranayama have been described in old scriptures. Some of them are described below. The techniques involving alternate nostril breathing is known as Anulom Pranayama. It is also referred to as the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. Long and deep breathing as if feeling the movement of the diaphragm is known as Bhastrika Pranayama. Retention of the breath for a while is known as Kumbhaka Pranayama. The process of respiration where inhalation and exhalation of air takes place, this pause is called Vilom exercise. The process of cooling the breath by doing respiration with mouth open and tongue extended out is known as Shitali Pranayama. In Agnisar Pranayama, one focuses on the navel region. Surya Bedhana Pranayama and Chandra Bedhana Pranayama are the techniques involving single nostril breathing, and right nostril is associated with the sun and the left nostril associated with the moon. Thus, several techniques of yoga emphasize breathing in different ways to increase the energy as required, either by cooling or by heating up the system. All of them are finding experimental scientific support in modern clinical investigation. Visualization. Imagery is a potent method of stress reduction, particularly when combined with physical relaxation methods such as deep breathing. The idea behind the use of imagery in stress reduction is that one uses one's imagination to recreate and enjoy a situation that is very relaxing and soothing. The more intensely one imagines the situation, the more relaxing the experience tends to be. The use of imagery or visualization is the basic theme of this method. It is coupled with several kinds of relaxation exercises. One is encouraged to visualize or mentally recreate the situation in which he felt extremely happy and peaceful. It could be some place in the lap of nature, or it could be the company of some loved ones. One goes back in time and imagine a situation in as much details as possible. He relieves the sounds, smells, the taste and other bodily experiences that gave him immense pleasure and satisfaction. After thus recreating this retreat from stress, he does relaxation exercises which increase the benefit much more. Yoga Nidra, Shavasana. The concept has been derived from the tradition of Tantra Yoga. The literal meaning of Yoga Nidra is sleep induced under yogic procedures. Its sustained consciousness, unlike a real state of sleep, gradually takes an individual into deeper and deeper state of mental, physical and emotional relaxation. By doing so, one comes nearer his subconscious and unconscious mind, looks at them with greater confidence and mental peace, and thus heals oneself by shattering the chains of stressful experiences. It is a very powerful technique to create an altered state of consciousness. If this state is practiced repeatedly with full dedication, one can reach a state called enlightenment. It produces magical changes in terms of mental peace, knowledge about the inner experiences. One of the great authorities on yoga, Patanjali, the ancient Indian sage, classified Yoga Nidra as one of the 8 limbs of Raj Yoga, one of the important branches of the yoga system of study and practices. Another form of this technique was devised by Sri Swami Satyananda Saraswati. From a traditional tantric practices had a major impact on the world of yoga. Satyananda Yoga Nidra is pratyahara technique in which the distraction of the mind are contained and the mind is allowed to relax. This practice has had a profound transformative effects on practitioners. Yoga Nidra eloquently prepare the mind for other spiritual experiences. It aims at removing the toxic effects of sensory stimulation on the individual and increasing concentration and dhyan and awareness. Self-hypnosis. It is a significant application of the concept of positive psychology. One is encouraged with all logic and rationality to fill his heart and mind with positive emotions and thoughts like hope, faith, forgiveness and optimism. One is encouraged to develop a different, more positive perspective toward life. Such a change is reflected in the physiological rehabilitation of the organism also, where the sympathetic arousal symptoms of stress subside and add to the mental peace. The effect of self-hypnosis are intense and more lasting. Summary. Relaxation is more than a state of mind. It physically changes the way one's body functions. When the body is relaxed, breathing slows down, blood pressure and oxygen consumption decreases, people report an increased sense of well-being. There are various relaxation techniques, namely Autogenic Training, Biofeedback, deep breathing, meditation, Zen yoga, progressive muscle relaxation, pranayama, visualization, yoga nidra and self-hypnosis. Other techniques like tai chi, dancing, walking, gardening, etc. also aid relaxation. These techniques may be the most effective when practiced regularly and combined with good nutrition, regular exercise and a strong social support system.